One of the tools that's available for development in a community like Framingham with a downtown supported by a commuter rail station is called transit-oriented development. And what transit-oriented development means is that within a 5 to 10 minute walk of the commuter rail station, there's an opportunity to create high-density, mixed-use, residential, retail, and office development that's supported by the commuter rail station. It's a very attractive development model for older urban areas and downtown areas like downtown Framingham because retail has largely left the downtown, and we can bring vitality back by offering a great place for particularly young workers and young people who want less dependency on an automobile and want more access to mass transit. So when I came here in 2012, I asked myself the question, why has downtown Framingham not seen transit-oriented development in the same way that you've seen it in other communities with similar commuter rail stations? Haverhill, Lowell, Cambridge, Brockton, Quincy. And in March of 2013, we convened a panel of 4 experts, 4 developers, who have done this type of development in communities like Waltham, Haverhill, Newton, and elsewhere. And they offered 3 observations about the zoning in downtown Framingham. One is that it did not provide enough density to create critical mass, that it did not allow enough development potential for them to go out and assemble parcels and try to raise the capital needed to do a substantial development. Number 2, they felt that the parking requirements were too suburban and too constrictive in terms of the market that they were after, which was a young person with 1 car and a 1-bedroom apartment where a second car becomes irrelevant. And then thirdly, that the zoning needs to provide more flexibility in terms of the mixture of uses so that they could respond to the market and that they would have some flexibility to respond differently, say 3 years from now, to the market than what they might see today. So we've taken those 3 bits of advice to heart and had subsequent meetings of a small group of town officials and stakeholders in downtown Framingham. And I think we've built a pretty exciting consensus that we should embrace the notion of high-density residential development as a development tool within a 5 to 10 minute walk of our commuter rail station. And that we should advance a discussion within the community of how, with that development model in mind, we can transform downtown Framingham into a regional housing center that's very attractive, that creates an urban fabric that will be attractive to a young, skilled worker who's opting presently to live in Cambridge or Somerville or Jamaica Plain, but might want to live out in Metro West and have access to a well-paying job at EMC, Genzyme, TJX, Bose, MathWorks, and that we can create a level of critical mass that would support people living here and relying on the MW, the Metro West Regional Transit Authority, to get to work, that they would look for amenities and at scale they would find that restaurants and cafes and coffee shops would follow them, and that we have enough space downtown to create office situations where you could live in downtown Framingham and in fact work in downtown Framingham. And if we do this correctly, we can find a very, very different, vibrant, young, knowledge-based of workers kind of driving the economy in downtown Framingham. It's also a generation of workers that's comfortable with diversity, that would welcome a mixed income, multicultural community in which to live. They would find the amenities of a downtown area attractive as a neighborhood to live in. They would be very much transportation innovators. An option to ride a bike to work one day, take a shuttle bus with the Metro West RTA the next, or call up Uber driver on the cell phone and carpool on demand. And then lastly, this can really be a great economic benefit to the entire Metro West region because these high-tech employers are currently sending shuttle buses to Boston to bring young knowledge workers out to fill very important jobs in their companies. So I hope in the months ahead that we'll have a great conversation with the community of Framingham around this development tool, why it makes sense for downtown Framingham, and how it can really transform the downtown area into a very lively, mixed-income, multicultural neighborhood supporting a lifestyle in Framingham.